Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Felicia and I am an author. I'm currently writing my second book, which is titled The Hard Ugly Truth. I made a video a couple of weeks ago where I was here, in the deadline writing, in my book, and I'm trying to get the last chapter done. It's been a very busy couple of weeks though, and I haven't had much time at all. So I'm here again today, and the weather is just beautiful. Just wanted to share. I don't know if you can see the view, but it's just so beautiful. Like everything is just so green, and not too long ago it was more yellow because everything was, I guess, dead. But anyway, it's I love it up here. So I'm working on the second book, and I think I'm sharing more about this book than I did with my previous book, because that book, it's called My Unheard Voice, and that book was more about my emotional headspace and my trauma and my abuse. And this book is more about focused on the long-term effects of the trauma and the abuse. But my headspace is 100 times better than it was before. With the first book, I was more depressed. I was crying. I was angry at the world. It was hard to relive all of the trauma that I, endured as a child. So this time it's different because this is more about the long-term effects, but I've already acknowledged that I do, in fact, have long-term effects. I understand that I am not perfect. I understand that I do have some emotional baggage. I get that. I think before I was in denial. I made it seem I was abused, big deal, 100% fine. But no, that's not true. I'm not 100% fine. I do have some emotional baggage, and I acknowledge it now. So I'm no longer fighting, the monsters in my head, acknowledging that they're there, and I'm not, acknowledging that they're me. I'm the monsters in my head. I am my biggest critic. I am my biggest shit talker. Nobody can hate me more than I hate myself. That's my mindset. And it's sad, but it's true. But I acknowledge that now. So acknowledging it is helping me recover. I started my recovery process about a year ago when I started writing my first book. And that's when I started, the whole recovery process. I started learning about trauma, learning about, different coping mechanisms, and, learning how to change me, because my focus was me. My focus was on my recovery, my healing, and getting me to where I wanted me to be. So I've been working on that this whole year, and I'm very freaking proud of my accomplishments, my goals. I'm proud of it because I've overcome a lot of things that I never thought I would overcome. I'm no longer afraid of talking about my abuse. I talk about it openly now. I'm no longer, keeping quiet about it. I'm no longer embarrassed. Yes, some of the things were very embarrassing as I was writing them, and I will probably never read My Unheard Voice again, because now it's no longer in my head. It's all on paper. It's out in the world. So I'm relieved because of that. I'm free now because of that. I had that in my head for so many years, and some of those things I never wanted anybody to know. But I shared it with the world, and I feel free now. I don't feel scared anymore. I don't feel embarrassed. So, if I have anybody, who comes up to me and, questions me about it, I'm no longer ashamed. I think that's the biggest thing. I'm no longer ashamed. I no longer feel the guilt that I had before, because I know that the shame and the guilt were never mine to be carrying on to. It was always my abusers. It was never mine. So with this book, it's kind of different, because this book, I'm focused on the long-term effects, but grief, trauma, dissociation, different topics like that, the emotional distress. But acknowledging that was, I think, the hardest part, and that's what made me stall. It took me months to actually say, okay, I am messed up. I do have issues, and now I have to work on them. It took me a while to do that, and I did it, and now I'm okay with getting it all on paper. That's the important thing, getting it on paper so I can help somebody else who felt the way I felt, who denied that they were screwed up like I denied it for so long. So I think that's the whole point, getting it on paper, helping other people who need the help. So after this book is done, I'm hoping to get this one published within the month. That's my goal. And immediately I'm going to start my third book, which is focused on, it's going to be a self-help book. So that one is focused on the steps I took to actually heal and actually resolve my healing, resolve my trauma, resolve my, depression, resolve all of that, because I'm finally there now. A year ago, I was nowhere near okay with any of that, but now I am. I'm good with it. And now I think that sharing my healing will help others heal also. So just wanted to talk more about, this book, which is called The Hard, Ugly Truth. And it is exactly that. It is the hard, ugly truth of long-term abuse and trauma. So this book, I'm praying should be published within the next month and a half. Of course, once it is published, I'll be making a lot of videos because I'll be excited to share it. But just wanted to share that this is a different process than it was with the first book, because this one I'm excited about. The first book I wasn't excited about. I was so freaking nervous. I was so embarrassed. I was so scared. I wasn't excited about that book. But this one I am, because this one I actually do have some good information to help other people who are dealing with some of the things, the same things that I've been dealing with. So just wanted to share that. I hope you have a good afternoon. Bye-bye.